Hi, I'm Malcolm Streitfeld, Anchor staff writer. This is Apple Crisp, Anchor TV mascot, and welcome to a special double feature of Inside the Pages. Today I will be discussing Isaac Asimov's short story collection Robot Visions and his novel Foundation. Once in a while, you come across an author whose mind is so extraordinary that it's hard for you to wrap your head around, and I think Isaac Asimov was that author for me. He is one of the biggest giants of sci-fi alongside Arthur C. Clarke, and his to the point that a lot of his ideas and concepts, most especially the three laws of robotics, are very much still present in the genre today. A while back, I was in a used bookstore looking to start reading his Foundation series, but I couldn't find it. I did, however, find his short story collection, Robot Visions, and I started reading that instead. And that, in general, the short stories that included ones like a robot who is being interrogated for potentially lying by a human, and two rover-like robots that have gone rogue and continuously going around in circles, are so fascinating to me because Isaac Asimov talks a lot about artificial intelligence and morality and really what robots are capable of nowadays, and not necessarily disobeying the three laws that they were programmed to follow, but finding these loopholes that still fit within their programming. And that is fascinating to me. Like not being able to lie, but technically telling the truth in the form of a lie would be a good example of that. But he didn't just write about robots, and then going into Asimov's Foundation series with his first book, which is about a psychohistorian called Harry Seldon, and his embarking on a crusade with thousands of other people to found a library of centuries of information on a distant planet during the waning years of a galactic empire. Asimov tends to also explore bigger ideas of what the extent of human knowledge and how far we'll go to preserve it and how far people will go to exploit it. Um, and his stories span millennia, and it's still hard for me to comprehend in general because he deals with these issues so casually, and he has such an intricate vocabulary using words I've never even heard of, like tetrahedron. I think might have been one of them, or hexadeciron, something like that. He speaks with this cadence about issues that are very much present today as we're moving into the future and we're starting to develop more and more artificial intelligence. He was talking about this stuff decades before it really became prevalent about what machinery was capable of, um, to the point that other works of sci-fi unrelated to him have picked up on ideas like three laws of robotics and ran with it, because we're still wondering like how far can we take AI before it becomes too sentient or before it goes out of control, or if it decides to turn against us, or what happens when it decides to think for itself. These were ideas that Asimov, along with Clarke, they both pioneered, I think. And I'll talk about Clarke in a future review, but yeah, Asimov is incredible. He's such a fascinating author, and for anyone who really wants to get a good picture of what lies ahead of us in the future and wants a good grasp of the technological issues facing future generations, then read Asimov because he will make you think so hard about what lies ahead of us with current affairs because he was very forward thinking. The man was a visionary. I mean, he honestly was. I mean, that's the best way to describe it. He had an extraordinary brain with what he talked about. I mean, there was this one story I remember, Robot Visions, about a giant robot that was befriending a little girl, and that made me question like, can that robot really feel real emotion? Because it's not programmed to, and yet it's clearly attached to this girl. Is it possible that maybe robots can feel emotions more than we think? Maybe. It was never programmed into them, is the fascinating thing. Asimov always found those little clever moments, but he always managed to be heartwarming at the same time. He questioned morality in such a unique way by suggesting that maybe it's not an inherently human thing. Maybe robots are capable as well. Maybe technology is capable as well. And that fascinates me. So yeah, read Asimov's works because if you want a good, if you really, really want to know know what he's like, because he is incredible. And he wrote more in the series. I mean, Foundation was just the first book in a long series of books that he wrote. But he changed sci-fi so much in ways that I still can't even imagine. So yeah, this was my double feature on Asimov. Thank you. See you next week.